What's up? What's up? What's up? Hi, everybody. You already know who it is. It's Desi, your crochet bestie. I'm here with a tutorial today. Today, I really want my besties to learn how to do a granny square. Granny squares are super important, best friend. And let me tell you why, right? You can make a lot of stuff, and I'm going to show you exactly what I mean by that. One moment. I have this hat here that I made. This is literally just 8 granny squares that I sewed together, right? And I made a cute little hat. This is this bag that I'm working on. I'm not completely finished with. A tote that I made out of granny squares. I have my little, also have this little top. This is just a big granny square, guys. So I put a chain around it at the top to act as straps. However, this is just a granny square, right? And same for these tops that I make. These little tops, I just put sleeves on the side. These are just granny squares. But granny squares are the number one thing to make, because you're going to be able to make anything. I'm going to try to make it super easy. Anyway, bestie, we got this. We got this, bestie, because we're locked in. We got this. All right, besties. So we have our Think of Yarn here. We also are going to need a 4mm hook, as well as, of course, our scissors. If you care about what color this brand is, I love this yarn, and the color is Light Sage. Okay, so from here, I'm just going to make my slip knot. So I'm here, I'm holding my yarn like this, I'm twisting, I'm grabbing the working yarn, I'm pulling it through that loop, and I'm making my knot. If you need a little bit more help on how to do that, I think I do have a video on how to do a slip knot if you do need extra help. I end my slip knot if needed. All right, so for the pattern, and to start the granny square, the first step we need to do is make a circle. And this pattern, I'm just going to go ahead and chain 4 and make a circle. How to do a magic circle, of course, you could go ahead and do it here. But the chain 4 method is just as easy, right? So we have our slip knot here, and I'm going to go ahead and chain. So a chain, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, that's 2, yarn over, pull through, that's 3, yarn over, pull through, that's 4. Okay, so we should be looking like this. We have a chain of 4, and I'm literally just going to make a circle. So I'm going to insert my hook into the first chain that I've done. The first chain is going to be here. You are not entering your hook for no reason. You're always pulling up a loop. So what I mean by that is I'm going to grab this yarn, which is a pulling up a loop. I'm going to grab this yarn just to do a slip stitch. I'm grabbing that and then I'm going to go ahead and make it one loop here. Okay, so here is our little circle. All right, so if you want to do the magic circle, that is totally fine. After the magic circle, you should be here. So I have my circle here. I'm going to make sure my tail, I don't get confused on my tail, so I'm just going to make sure it's down here. I'm going to go ahead and now chain 3. Okay, so I'm going to chain 3, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. So because this counts as our first double crochet, our first chain of 3 counts as our first double crochet, we need to now place 2 more double crochets before we could continue on to our pattern. Of course, we're going to yarn over. So if you ever need help, just go ahead and pull that apart just so you can see. Insert your hook right into that hole. Every time you insert your hook, you always pull up a loop. So I'm going to grab onto that yarn, pull it up by going through the same hole that my my hook is already in, and I should have 3 on my hook. Okay, so you should be looking like this. You should yarn over again, so you have 4, You then want to remove 2 of the loops, 1, then 2. You want to then yarn over again, have 3 on your loop, and then remove both of those on the loop until you have 1. I'm going to do that one more time. To start your double crochet, of course, you want to yarn over, right? So you should start with 1 loop and then 2 loops on your hook. So when you yarned over, you now have 2 loops on your hook. After you do that, you want to go ahead and insert your hook into that stitch. And then every time you insert, you want to pull up a loop. So I'm here, I'm pulling up a loop. And we should have 1, 2, 3 loops on our hook. I'm going to yarn over again because I thought 3 was not enough. I need 4. I'm going to yarn over again. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4 loops on my hook. I'm going to remove 2. 1, 2. I have 2 left on my hook. I'm going to yarn over again until I have 3. And then I'm going to take away 2 until I have 1. So 1, 2, and I have 1 left. That is 1 crochet. You have your 2 double crochets here in your circle. Next, we're going to chain 2. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. Okay? After the chain of 2, the pattern calls for 3 double crochets, 2 chains, 3 double crochets, 2 chains. So I'm going to just continue that pattern. So I've already done 1 here in this cluster. Go through your loop, pull up a loop. You have 3. Now I need 4. Now I need 2. Now I need 3. Now I need 1. Okay, so I now have 3 again double crochets here. I'm going to chain 2. Chains are just yarn over, pull through, of course. So I'm going to go ahead and yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. Okay, so we're literally just trying to make a little square. So half of my square is pretty much completed. So I'm going to just continue this pattern 2 more times. That's 1. Need to do another one. That's 2. If you ever need to, if your stitches are getting too close, you could just, of course, move them, push them to the over, and they should look better. Okay, and then we need 1 more. 3. After the 3rd one, let's chain 2. You can see our little square is coming along. We need to do our double crochet cluster 1 more time. So yarn over, go in a hole. I have every chain 2 is the corners. So we're making corners for our little square. All right, so I'm going to just insert my hook to close up this little square into the first stitch that I made. I'm going to insert my hook into the top chain. So I'm going to insert here. So I'm going to insert it in here. And every time I insert, of course, I have to pull up a loop. And I'm just closing that square up. So we should be looking like this. We should have, of course, 4 corners, and we should have like a mini square. Corners, our chain 2s make our corners, and our little double crochets are forming a square. I'm going to go ahead and chain 2, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. And then I'm going to place a double crochet on top of each one of my double crochets that I did in my last row. Chain 2 is going to count as our first double crochet. So in this cluster, I'm only going to have to do 2 more double crochets to fulfill the pattern. So in here, first stitch that I see, first V that I see here, I'm going to go ahead and insert my hook, do my double crochet right in there. Okay, so again, if you need help finding your stitches, just look for the V's, right? So every V that you see will be a stitch. So turn to the side if you need and you look for that V, that's where I will be placing my hook underneath. So I'm going to yarn over. I'm going to look for the V. I'm going to place my hook right underneath the V. I'm going to pull up and continue doing my double crochet as normal. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and continue on, and in the corner, I'm going to place 2 double crochets into this corner. So just as normal, just placing double crochet into that big hole in that big corner that we created. All right, we're here. We then need to chain 2, that same exact hole that we've already put the other 2 double crochets in. I'm going to put it in that same exact stitch. Okay, after you're done with that, so here, make sure you don't lose the hole here in the next stitch. I've done my 3. So of course I'm at a corner. I have to put 2 double crochets, chain 2, and then 2 more double crochets. Okay, so we're going to continue the pattern on. So we've done the 2, chain 2, and then 2 more double crochets into the corner. All right, and we're back at a corner. Now we're going to do 2 double crochets in this hole. I'm going to chain 2, and then 2 more double crochets into the same stitch. Okay, and I'm gonna again just close my hole here by looking for the first V that I see that I've done. So I'm here. I'm gonna just insert my hook into the first V and do a slip knot. So I've inserted it and I'm just doing a slip stitch. Okay, so your square should be looking something like this. Okay, so I'm going to, of course, continue on. Now that you're here, of course, you want to just chain 3, 1, 2, 3. That counts as 1 double crochet. And then you want to just continue on until you basically get the size that you want. Okay. So that's basically the entire pattern, right? So just continue down. I'm going to go ahead and finish this row, and then I'll come back on here and I'll let you know what to do next. So I've done my row and I'm here. I'm ready to slip stitch off. I'm going to go ahead and, of course, do the same thing I always do and just insert my hook into the first stitch that I see here. And then I'm going to just, okay, so from here, I would literally just continue making this pattern doesn't change. So I would just make this bigger and bigger and bigger. When you do your corners, of course, just continue on with the pattern of chain, do double crochets all the way down until you get to the corner again, and then you just repeat. And then once you finally get back up here, you want to close up your hole. If I'm trying to make a hat, I would just continue the project on until my hat is the length that I would want it to be. If I'm trying to make a shirt, I would just continue on and make as many stitches or as many rows so that I could go ahead and get the length that's needed, right? And off, it's just yarning over, pulling through, and tightening it. And then I would just take my scissors here and just cut that. I hope this was super easy. I tried to make it as simple as possible, but you got it, bestie. Just continue doing those rows over and over again and making them bigger, making your granny square bigger and bigger until it is the size that you want it to be. I hope this was helpful, best friend. I really do. This video, I will surely be posting more tutorials and things like that. I hope this was helpful. Until next time, besties. Bye.